What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we are talking about the Duelist pack theories again. Okay, long story short, quick overview. We have Duelist pack, Duelist of the Whirlwind, coming out in the TCG in a little bit less than 2 months, and the OCG is already scheduled to be getting their next Duelist pack, Duelist of the Abyss, which is a water-based Duelist pack after that. So when you look at that, you already factor in that we've gotten the Dark Duelist pack. Really, the elementals that fall in line after that are going to be fire and earth. I already did a video about fire, so if you want to go check out the possibility for fire decks to get support in a future Duelist pack, check that out. But today we are covering earth. The possibilities are insane. You literally take wind, water, fire, combine all the possibilities there, then double it, and you get like however many like there is for earth. So there's a lot of stuff here to cover. So we're going to be zooming through a lot of things. I'm going to start with the possible ones. Not likely, but I think they're possible. And I'm just going to be giving you a quick reason why I don't think they're that likely, but they are, you know, technically possible. All right, let's start off with Spectre. Cool, he plays Sun Avalons in the anime. It's a pretty prevalent character, actually, but I think the big problem here is we just got these cards this year, so I doubt a year later they would want to revamp an archetype we got less than a year prior, so don't see it there. Next up is this dude. Trey, I think is his name. I don't even know. He plays Chronomalies. Again, we just got 5 new support cards for Chronomalies this year. I don't think a year later they would want to give another 7 cards to an archetype. Next up here we have Joey Wheeler. This is a funny one because technically he has like a little mini archetype throughout the anime, like the Land Star like monsters. I think we only have 1 or 2. It's like the vanilla and the one that like buffs warriors. So if they wanted to make an archetype out of it, that would be really funny. I don't think it's likely, but it'd be something that's interesting. I just don't think it's like worth it because I don't think enough people care about Landstar. Next up is this little weirdo. I don't even know what he does. Oh, he plays Despots. That's right. But he's not a super prevalent character. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the reason why. I don't think he's that prevalent, but I guess it's a possibility. Next up is Yuma. He plays the Dododos, the Gagas, and all those. I don't think he's very likely just because of the fact that he just ended up in Magical Hero, another Duelist pack not too long ago. Fluffles. Fluffles are possible, but not super likely just because the archetype isn't fully Earth. Like an okay portion of the archetype is Earth, but not fully. You have this girl, she plays Gem Knights, but she's not that like prevalent a character. Plus we've had problems with like FTKs with Gem Knights, so I don't know if Konami really wants to play around with that. Crowler, he was in the very first Duelist pack, I believe, if not the second one, can't remember. But Ancient Gears could be cool. Adam Emancipator is technically in the manga, but like it's such a so irrelevant, I don't think it'll matter. My Valentine with Amazonas, same thing as Crowler. She was already in it with Amazonas, unfortunately. This would have been so cool. 7 cards for Amazonas. Amazonas could actually be so clutch and actually making them solid because they have a Rhoda, a Stratos, a cool trap card, and a cool extender. Like they actually have a lot of cool pieces. They just need win conditions, essentially. You have this weird guy. He plays like the raccoons, just not a relevant enough character. This guy only from the manga, but he does play Barbaros, and we did get the random Barbaros monster that has an effect that almost made you think that they were going to make a Barbaros archetype at some point, but never came to fruition yet, so I don't know. That would be interesting. Next up, you have the Principal from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. He played Cyber Ogre when Zane was on his like edgy phase. Nothing too crazy there. Anna Kaboom was already in Sisters of the Roses. This dude played Iron Chain. Just not a relevant enough character, I don't think. Yusei, again, same thing, was in Magical Hero not too long ago. This dude and this dude played Machina, but Machina got a structure deck fairly recently, and I also don't know if either of those characters are relevant enough to really give Machina more support. Plus, we just got a new support card. We've been getting random one-off support cards, so not worried there. This girl, I think, is only from a manga series, but Trap Tricks, that'd be cool, but just a manga character. I don't know if it's relevant enough. Orbital 7 played Super Defense Robots. I don't think anybody cares about Super Defense Robots or Orbital 7 as a character, so I don't think so. You have this dude who played X Sabers. He's actually an interesting character. He's just not that prevalent, but I actually wouldn't be overly surprised. Plus, I don't know if all X Sabers are Earth. I don't know off the top of my head, at least. So there's a couple things there, but I do think he's one of the more likely from the possible category. You have Yuya, I believe is his name, for Form Pal, same thing, was in Magical Hero. And then we get to the actual decent chance ones. I'm going to start with Yugi. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, Yugi was already in multiple Legendary Duelist packs, or Duelist packs, whatever. I get that. But if there's one character they will not give a fuck about putting him in as many things as they want, it is Yugi, because they know his shit sells. It has nostalgia for people. Also, they tend to like to make his cards really good. Hence, Dragoon and Magician Souls. They've found ways to make his older cards revamped and meta relevant. So here we go. He actually has a couple different things here. So first off is random ones. These ones I don't think are super likely, but I wouldn't be surprised. There's a couple different Celtic Guardian cards. Obnoxious Celtic Guardian and like the Celtic Guardian of Noble Arms or something. So they could make that into a full archetype and make it all Earth. You have Big Shield Gardna, one of his classic monsters. We already have like, Mid Shield Gardna as well. They could try and make a full archetype out of Gardnas, Shield Gardnas. That could be interesting. And then Giant Soldier of Stone, we have a couple iterations of that one as well. If they really want to go in on any of these random cards and actually just make him more full-on archetypes, that would be kind of cool. Also, apparently Yugi played Gadgets at one point, which is kind of cool, but I don't think it's like a classic enough. Like, I don't think people really remember it as a Yugi like archetype at all, or like mini engine he played, except for like a couple different instances later in the show. So I don't think it's classic enough to him for them to go off of that. But that would be cool. Gadgets are pretty cool. You have Gaia the Fierce Knight. This one I don't think is as likely just because we just got them in Rise of the Duelist, like the whole Gaia archetype there. It would be kind of cool if they wanted to expand even further on that and see what they can do, because 7 cards could really like bolster that strategy, but we'll see. You also have Buster Blader. Haven't got support for this in a minute outside of like the Link 2 a couple years ago, so they could definitely do something there. The only thing I'd say is like Buster Blader's Earth, but the rest of the Buster Blader stuff isn't really Earth. So here. Blackluster Soldier. I actually think this is probably the most likely Yugi card to get turned into like a new archetype, except for the one I'm going to show you after, because Blackluster Soldier has a bunch of cool like individual cards. We have like the Link 3, we have BLS Envoy of the End, or Envoy of the Beginning. I see he's the end, right? No, I can't remember. Whatever. We have like individual monsters that like work separately, but we don't have really like I don't know. They could go more in, I should say, on like an actual BLS like archetype and really try to round it out into like a functional deck. That would be really cool. And then the last thing, and I know I've yelled this at you guys so much, is the Magnet Warriors. They're all Earth. They are classic Yugi. If you've like since Battle City, everybody knows that these are Yugi cards and they're very hype to me. So I would love to see Yugi get like 7 more of these cards. That would be so dope. But yeah. Okay, moving on. We have this guy's name is like George Gore, I think is his name. He plays Gokis and Dino Wrestlers. Funny enough, they're both Earth attributes. The only downside of this guy, I think, that makes him slightly less likely is he is a Brains character, so he is somewhat newer. So I don't know if they want to go in on that. Also, Gokis have had problems with hand looping and people just hating them in the metagame prior. So I don't know if they want to really throw 7 more cards at an archetype like that. But I could see Dino Wrestlers. Couple cool cards. If they really want to try and round it out, it could help make up for Dinos losing Misk to 1 on the ban list. Try and like compensate for that a little bit and maybe steer them in a slightly different direction. That would be cool. I don't know, but I think I could do something interesting there. Next up is Leo. He played Morphtronics. They're mostly Earth, and I think they mainly stink, but if they wanted to really revamp the archetype, they really could do an overhaul with 7 cards. So I actually think that one's a pretty cool one. Leo's a pretty prevalent character. He's all over the place in 5Ds. Next up is Hasselberry. Sorry, the picture's really huge. Yeah, so he plays Dinos, which is not necessarily Earth, but most of the Dinos he plays in the show are like black Dinos. There's like Black Brachios, Black Terra, Black Tyranno, right? He has a bunch of those. And they're all Earth. So if they really wanted to, they could just expand on that and just revamp some of the old black Dinos and maybe make a new Black Dinosaur deck that's all Earth and like, stays in that Earth category. That could definitely work. Next up, we have Alexis Rhodes. I know we've already seen her in a Duels pack before, but we've seen this. When duelists have different decks that they play during the show, they sometimes will throw them in twice, especially if they're a popular character. And Alexis, aside from like Mai and like Akiza is like the most popular girl in the series. Some people like Taya, but Taya's hit or miss for people. But she did play these weird like dancer girls that it was kind of like a fusion archetype, but you had like Blade Skater and a Toil Cyber and stuff like that. If they wanted to expand on that, they're mainly Earth and they could do something cool. And I think it'd be, I don't know. I remember liking the cards as a kid though, so it's cool. Crocodile Jim. I know we got the fossil stuff. Was that last year? Oh my gosh, everything's blending together. I think it was last year. They could expand more so on the fossil deck. The deck doesn't really, is kind of like, doesn't really do much right now, but they can maybe try and expand on it a little more. That could be kind of cool. Then you have Officer Trudge. I love this picture. He played the Goyo stuff, I believe. And so as part of playing the Goyo stuff, they're all Earth. There's actually some interesting cards in there. Goyo Guardian. There's the little Goyo guy that like keeps summoning himself back, which is pretty interesting. You could definitely try and you know, try and fudge a new archetype out of this. Like a full-on archetype, I should say. Next up is this guy. I think his name is like Nistro? Something like that. He played Heroic Challengers, and apparently he's more relevant than I've never even seen that guy, but he's actually decently relevant in the show apparently, which is cool because I think Heroic Challengers have some interesting cards, Thousand Blades definitely being one of them. They could definitely try and expand on this archetype and dig a little deeper there because it's all Earth Warriors, I believe, so definitely some room to wiggle there for sure. Then we move to this guy. I don't even remember what his name is. Like Veronimus Venom or something like that. Something ridiculous. His design, it's crazy. But he plays the Venoms. He's one of the villains, I think, in the arc where like Jesse Anderson appears for the first time with like Crocodile Jim and all of them. It's fine. Like they put Venom counters on stuff, but they could definitely try and expand on this. I honestly wouldn't be that surprised because we got alien support, we got Ogdoadic, we got reptilian support. They're going all in this year on the reptile stuff, so I would not be surprised if they wanted to go for this. I know a lot of them are Earth. Obviously, this one's dark, so that's not the best example of the card that I should have picked up here, but a lot of them are Earth. So, you know, Venom, you know, the Venom cards could be pretty interesting there. Next up is this dude. I don't even remember his name, but he's like friends with Yusei from 5Ds. He was like evil at first, but they save him. He plays the TGs, which is pretty cool. It's just a cool archetype. A lot of the cards are Earth. Again, I have a light one here, but a lot of the main deck cards are Earth. They could go a little bit more in on a TG, on TG support. I know we got a couple cards in the last couple of years, but nothing crazy. And then I think the last character we have here is this dude. I don't even know his name, but his design is clean. He looks like a Pokemon character here. It's really funny. But cool. He plays Super Heavy Samurai from, I don't know if he's Zexal or post Zexal, to be honest. I want to say Zexal, but cool. He plays 6 Super Heavy Samurai. They actually do some interesting things. I've seen people say Super Heavy Samurai is actually better than people give it credit for. Not that it's amazing, but it's like respectable. It does some interesting things. They have this Link 1, which is actually a pretty decent Link 1 card. And yeah, 7 cards would definitely be able to do a lot for an archetype that has so many cards at its disposal so far. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Your top options become this dude, Veronimus Venom, or whatever his name is, Nistro, Trudge, Crocodile Jim, Alexis, Hassleberry, Leo, George, Gore, and of course Yugi Moto. How could you ever doubt it? So that's pretty much it there. There were, man, it took me a minute to do research on all the Earth archetypes. There are so many out there. And honestly, it's so hard to predict because we end up getting things like the Fleur cards and Sherry LeBlanc, which only had like 1 wind monster in that entire like mini archetype. And they just said, yeah, that's enough wind. That's a cool boss monster. We'll just make the archetype around that. And it ends up in the wind duelist pack. So they can take anything Earth and just make it into an archetype. That's why I threw stuff like Celtic Guardian and Giant Soldier of Stone in there, just because why not? You know, I wouldn't be overly surprised if Konami just said, you know what, that's a cool classic monster, let's run with it. And plus it's based around Yugi, who always is going to draw in people to a set, of course. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got here. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think there's anything in particular I missed that's definitely worth noting and could end up in here, or let me know exactly, like, out of everything I listed here, what you would want to see the most, because I would want to see Magnet Warriors. I would want to see, hold on, let me go through this. Magnet Warriors or Blackluster Soldier or Buster Blader. I think any of those three would be really cool to me. Dino Wrestlers would be cool. Ooh, Black Dinos for sure. I would really like to see Black Dinos. I'd like to see the fossil stuff expanded on, but I don't know if I'd want to see it more so than like heroic challenges. I think would be really cool. Goyos could be cool if they actually wanted to make it like a legit synchro archetype. Fossils that they expanded on now. I think there's a lot of cool options here for sure. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts, but that's pretty much what I'm thinking there. Thank you again for watching. Here, I tried to skim through everything as fast as I could. I literally had like 75 pictures at the end of this that we had to skim through. So thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging with me if you made it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more discussion videos like this one, as well as deck profiles, locals vlogs, all that kind of shiz. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.